Hey everyone, welcome to my show. Be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch for all my exclusive content. Hello again, Fleet Commanders. Welcome back for a quick video today. We're going to do sort of an overview recap, share some thoughts and feedback on the Summer Games events that are wrapping up. One more day to go. Bronze events had 24 hours. Gold, silver events also had 24 hours. But it is July 4th here in the U.S. It's our Independence Day national holiday. So Scopely and the designers, these events were designed by former community manager and now live ops team member Eco, with some input from content creator Ultimate DJs in terms of figuring out some of this stuff. The gold one's got 48 hours to do, so the milestones are a little harder, plus it being a holiday that it's falling over, they gave you an extra day. Good planning. I appreciate that. As far as completing the milestones, I finished all 9 events without even having to do the marathon SMS, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. I know some players may have been a little challenged, we'll call it, by the Federation fitness test. This one is a gain power type event. Now, some of these gain power events, usually research is worth 10 points. This time it was worth 15, so that sort of also got taken into consideration, I think. And just to double check on that, let's just go to stfc.space real quick. Open up a quick new link here and go look at some events. Give me just 1 second, we'll pull this up. All right, so I did find it. Now, normally when we have the regular domination event, when it's like the battle pass event for domination, research is worth 10 points apiece. You can also usually score points, though, doing officer XP or ship XP. That has not been the case for this style of event. Same thing with ticketed events when we have those as well. Ticketed events follow this same formula. So this is more of like a ticket event style where you do get 15 points for research, but you don't get the ability to use ship or officer XP. Okay, so again, following, copy paste, similar style event. Not terrible in terms of trying to finish it. It's 100,000 points through research, which if you have hopefully something that you've never unlocked, the first level of a lot of researches give pretty good points, 48,000, 84,000. Sometimes some of them are over 100,000. And as you get further and further in the tree, you can get some really big numbers off that. So I was able to do, just a couple of researches. And even if you had to do just a couple of smaller ones and maybe throw a building in there at 40 points from a building upgrade, I felt like these were all pretty reasonable to complete. Rewards could have been a little bit better. Only 1 officer shard for Troi, and 800 tier up catalysts for finishing this, give or take. Not, I mean, it's fine, it's decent, it's not overly impressive. And looking at some of the other events, kind of the same thing. You're talking about, just shy of 7,000 Syndicate XP for going out and killing Federation hostiles here. Now, for my gold one, we're talking about 83 million. The furthest I could possibly reach would be 60s. So how many kills is this? 83, 200, 83.2 million. Best case scenario is I kill all 60s, which wasn't the case because, there's where you have what systems you can find them in. It's 23 kills if I could kill just 60s. Not terrible. Most likely I'm killing a bunch of 59s and 58s in there, so we're north of 30, probably 35 kills on average. Again, 60s aren't going to spawn on the systems that I can reach as often. There's going to be some sprinkled in through there, but I'm going to be killing 58s and 59s as well, and they're worth considerably less points. So probably 25 for some of the lower level the bronze and the silver ones, and then for the gold ones, which the milestones were, the milestones did progress on these as you went, but I feel like they went at a reasonable pace. So I liked these events overall, and again, the rewards were okay, all right, great. I killed 25 hostiles, which might 30 hostiles, kind of the equivalent of like doing a daily. It 10 minutes, 15. I mean, it probably took me longer flying there and back to get all the way out to those deep space systems, 5+ minute travel time, than I really probably spent actually killing hostiles while I was there. And one more Troi shard, so total of 3, 6, 9 Troi shards available between the individual events. And then for finishing the meta here, you get 10 more, giving you a total of 19. She takes 38 to unlock, so it's a half unlock. Were these events completable? I feel like they were. I feel like these events, all players should have had a very reasonable chance and opportunity to complete these regular events, get your 9 points, get your Summer Games meta done. Ta-da. The only slight little issue I have with this event, we'll call it, is the SMS. And this was billed as like a Kobayashi Maru style event. Wasn't necessarily intended for players to actually complete it, although I've seen screenshots. Some of them did. Some of them did it on the first day. I guess they were just looking for an opportunity to do some upgrades, or they found the rewards to be that compelling in it. But it was billed that you'd be able to pick up additional points for the meta event if you were having trouble completing these, and that was just false. Because let's face it, if you're having trouble completing, the domination style events, if you can't gain power through research and buildings enough to finish these milestones, spending the amount of materials needed to hit any of the milestones in here is significantly harder to do. I feel like, unless you just got a brand new ship and that new ship, is holding you back from being able to do things, and you're like, well, I'm going to upgrade that ship so next week I can do bigger things. Maybe you'd fall into that category where, okay, now that I've spent and upgraded, now I've got the ability to go back and kill things better to complete the hostile one faster. Or, you spent the materials on the building upgrades, so you kind of double dipped a little bit, maybe. But even still, these early milestones were definitely, um, the bar was set pretty high with them. And if we go look at some of like the different ops groups here, this is called Marathon. Let's go look at the Summer Games Marathon event. So even some of the lowest players, if we go look at like the 35 to 36 bracket, right? 35 to 36, that first bracket was 108,000 points. Now, if you're spending G3 materials, G3 uncommons, really most likely all you've got to spend. Maybe if you're working on some rares if you've progressed enough with your Enterprise or Augur or whatever you got going there. Or some of your Saladin, maybe you're still working on. I don't know. But most likely you're spending G3 uncommon materials, I feel like, on a lot of stuff. And even getting to that first milestone there, 108,000 points, divided by 20, you guys spend 5,400 uncommon materials. That's a lot for a G3 player to spend. And your reward for doing so, 28,000 Syndicate XP, not something to certainly, stick up your nose at. This is a good amount of Syndicate XP, especially for someone in this level range. But selling it as this is an alternative way for players, who are having trouble doing it, they should have just left that part out. They should have said, here's another alternative. If you'd rather just spend materials, go for it. But trying to sell it as, well, if you're having trouble with this, you can always complete this, when this is way harder to do without spending cash, I guess. Maybe that's the alternative. You can buy your way out of it. Maybe they should have just said that, right? Well, if you're having trouble doing the upgrades, you can just buy your way out of it by doing this and then upgrading some ships. Realistically, more along the lines of what it would come down to. But this event here does have 16 milestones. The other part I have, too, is this is a little misleading. Earn points by completing various summer events and by completing the first 9 milestones of the Summer Games Marathon. Summer Games Marathon milestone 1 through 9, 1 point. They're missing a key word here, and I'm not the only one who thought this, because when I first saw this event, if you happen to watch my live stream Tuesday night when these events launched, I was howling at the moon, right? I was ranting and raving, and it was pointed out to me that my interpretation of how this is worded was wrong. I do make mistakes from time to time. Summer Games Marathon milestone 1 through 9, 1 point each. That's the keyword that's missing here. Each. You don't have to finish milestone 1 through 9 to get that 1 point you might be missing. Each milestone is worth 1 point. Again, could have been worded a little, it's a little ambiguous, probably could have been worded a little more clearly. I'm not the only one who jumped to that same conclusion, and I'm sure there may have been players who shied away looking at, 9 milestones for me would be 26.1 million points, right? Whatever it takes to get you to that first galactic recruit token. And the milestones here, this is the equivalent of a heroic SMS officer event. And if we go look at our heroic SMS officer recruit events, let's see what we got. Where's the, here we go. Let's go back to the last one, Recruit Picard, right? Recruit Picard, my ops level, 57 here. 23.2 million points is what it would take to finish. And for doing so, you would have gotten a half unlock off the officer. 35, 45, 50 shards. Half unlock of the officer. This time around, for spending the same, getting through the same milestones, you get, what are we talking about here? 25, 18, and 7. Yeah, 25 huge shards, and then, a little over about 110,000 or so, 112,000 Syndicate XP for your trouble. So you're getting a quarter unlock of the officer, and they're supplementing that with 100,000 Syndicate XP as well. 100,000 Syndicate XP, pretty solid value. I think the regular packs that they sell have about 100 and something thousand Syndicate XP. So this is probably about a $100 pack worth of Syndicate XP here. And 25 Hue shards, whatever equivalency you want to put on that value-wise. Because the end goal is, or the metric is always that unlocking a brand new epic officer through a heroic SMS should cost about $400 worth of material spend. That's sort of where Scopely sets the benchmark on these new officers. So the fact that this event here was giving half of Picard, you should have spent about $200 worth of materials. That is, meaning you buy some type of pack in the store. It will give you a variety of materials based on your ops level. And if you buy a $100 pack, if you spent every single material in that pack, uncommons, rares, and epics, that would give you, a quarter of the points, right? So you have to buy 4 packs total, or have the materials equal to 4 packs, right? 4 packs total, $400. Use every single material that you get out of there, which, let's face it, unless you're, at very specific criteria and scenarios, you're not going to be able to spend the epics. You can only really spend epics. There's a few, very select few researches that use epic materials. Some of the primes, some of the early original primes will use epic materials. Otherwise, it's just high-level ship upgrades. And for a lot of them, we're talking like tier 8, tier 9 plus. So, and again, G4 and higher. It's the only way to spend, there's only G4 and up epic materials. But these are a decent chunk of points. So you're probably not able to spend all of those, which means now you're into a 5th pack to get more uncommons and rares to spend those materials instead. So it's probably realistically closer to like a $500 pack valuation. They say it's 400, but you can't do it for 400. Most players can't do it for 400, right? Your higher level players, sure, they're spending the epics, on stuff when they can. But I got a little off point, off a tangent there. Sorry about that. Bringing it back. So you're talking about 9 milestones here. If this was the way you were going to go, 9 paths here, you're talking about over $200 of packs worth of materials to finish this up, and your reward for doing so is 10 Troi shards. Your extra reward for doing so, because obviously you're getting the Syndicate XP and the Hue shards too. But your extra reward for your path to completion was 10 Troi shards. And Troi is an okay officer. She's basically, if she'll ever open up, where do you gotta click the stupid thing? She's basically, her below deck ability is a weaker version of Odo, because Odo will give you critical hit damage against any target. Troi gives you critical hit damage against armadas and hostiles, so she's a little, doesn't work against other players. A little more limited and things like that. Her officer ability, not bad, could be helpful, might shave a round or two off of a fight. Most likely, she's just there giving synergy to either Picard or Riker, potentially, depending on what combination of officers you're using there, trying to boost their captain's ability. And again, if you can get the right stats and things like that, she can strip some shield health. But a lot of the things in the game now have millions or billions of shield health. So if you're talking about, oh, I've got, well, let's even take a look. Let's go look here. So she's stripping on attack, right? If I've got, what's my officer attack here? 51,000, right? This is a ship where I've got 3 officer slots on. If I put Troi in, say, instead of Data, or put her over here on the side for the 3rd officer slot, because I don't want to use, right, or because there's not enough slots, right, for synergy. Riker overlaps with Picard, Troi overlaps with Data, so either way I'm not getting a full value. So if I'm thinking, well, which one would I rather use in this situation, Riker or Troi? Let's try Troi, right? So I slap her over here to give Picard a little more synergy, boost his captain's ability. I've got 50,000 attack. She's doing 600% of that, so times 6 is what, 300,000? So she's stripping 300,000 shield health off of hostiles. If I go look at, a freebooter, how much shield health does one of these things have? 24 million. So, again, over the course of 4 or 5 rounds, sure, might take a little bit off. And again, cut this fight down a little bit. In this case, that's not a target I have a lot of trouble with. If I go back even further, this is where I was killing my faction hostiles. We're looking again at shield health here, 175 million. If Troy's taken off 300,000, and this fight went, what, 5, 6? Only 1 round. Okay, so she's not she's not moving the needle very much. Obviously, I'm hitting some crits with some big isolytic damage here, so that's why I'm killing these things a lot faster and taking these shields down. So her below deck ability is probably where she has more impact. And I feel like that's probably what may have discouraged players a little bit from participating in, or had them just take the bare minimum route, right? Finish this up, and it's like, all right, well, this is just all extra, right? I didn't have to do a whole lot. There wasn't anything else really going on. You have a small little flash pass, which again had some disappointing officers in it this time around, with Freeman and Gallinar, who aren't really as useful anymore. Ta'ana is useful, but kind of limited in the number of Ta'ana shards that are available. So it would really be more about these rewards here. And the thing that you're asking yourself, why would some whales and things like that go crazy for this? Don't they have enough Syndicate XP? Yes, probably. Don't they have enough Hue shards? Yeah, probably. Galactic recruit tokens. Currently, there's probably not anything in here that they want. They may be just stockpiling them to sit on until the officer pool rotates. Because currently you're looking at some Enterprise E officers, which they probably have pretty good. Then you've got some of the more the new PvP, newer lower deck PvP officers. You might still be working on some of those guys here. Voyager, probably not so much that they would need officers out of here, but they might just be sitting on those galactic recruit tokens, waiting for this pool to rotate a little bit with maybe with the in a month or two with the next arc, and then maybe we'll get eventually they'll get the new Apex officers, the Mirror Universe officers might come through here, might give them another opportunity to source some of those officer shards to boost their PvP situation, whatever they don't get between packs in the event store between now and then. But the other thing too is the final 4 milestones are the premium currency, the premium mirror dust, which had been for sale in a pack. You were getting over 2,000 of them in a pack for $100. Um, here, like I said, to finish one of these SMSs, you're looking at $200 worth of material spent. So basically, I'm going all the way. I'm spending $400 worth of materials to finish this event. And in doing so, we would be picking up about 2,500 of this new premium mirror dust for the trouble. Currently not for sale, but for the last week or so, they were selling a pack for $100 that had about 2,000 premium mirror dust in it. But I think it was a limit one, and that's why some of the higher level players, the whales, if you will, were participating in this event simply to get the dust. They want to do this. They want to do more of that premium research, and there is nothing else available in the store right now. And maybe that's why that pack got pulled out of the store conveniently when this came around. So if you wanted the dust, the only way to get it was to go through all this other stuff, which may be why you saw more people finish this event than you would probably expect. Just looking at these numbers at their face value and what you were getting, you would think a lot of players might not have finished, especially when they got to this point here and they're thinking to themselves, man, I got to spend $100 worth of pack material and all I'm getting back are galactic recruit tokens. Probably not happy about that. And one of the feedbacks that I did get from a number of players on this event is they would have loved to have seen these split up, right? There's 4 materials in here. Put one at each sort of milestone point. Put a Syndicate XP, then a Hue Shard, then a Galactic Recruit Token, then a Premium Dust. Then go on to Syndicate and repeat. Kind of, stagger them and spread them out a little bit, which is a good suggestion that they would probably have to monkey around with the individual values because getting 28,000 Syndicate XP here, probably worthwhile. Getting 28,000 Syndicate XP up here, you're like, man, I've already spent $300 worth of stuff and I'm still getting 28. So you'd have to tweak some of the values a little bit and kind of make them progressively go up too, I guess, rather than just sort of the way they did it here where they're just stacking them. And it's like, spend $100, get 100,000 Syndicate XP. Spend $100, get 25 Hue Shards. Spend $100, get, what's this? 13,500 Premium Recruit Tokens. Spend another $100, get 2,500 Premium Mirror Dust. Some feedback, some things to look at, take away for next time. Feel free to leave your comments down below what you thought of the Summer Games event series. I didn't talk about the PvP event. The PvP event was quick and easy, I felt like. Using the Discovery of the Rialta was easy with just loading up a TOS crew and going out and killing stuff. And the Vidar was fun too, although people kept bringing their Talios because they didn't realize it was only the regular Vidar that scored for that when we had that day. But they quickly learned after they killed something and realized, hey, I'm not getting extra bonus points. Why not? Oh, because it's only the regular Vidar that scores for that. So hopefully people will remember the next time this rolls around in 4 more years or 2 more years when it becomes the Winter Olympics. But yeah, overall, not a bad way to sort of fill up some time in between an arc series. What did you think? How did you think Eco did for his first event design? And what suggestions and feedback would you have for him? Leave it down below in the comments, and maybe he'll read them. Who knows? Or maybe somebody else on his team will read them and say, hey, here's what people thought about your events. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you around the galaxy. Take it easy.